A deafening silence hangs in the conference room of the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton. Around the Oval Table, 9 of the most renowned scientists on the planet exchange glances that need no words. On the screen behind them, a single number flashes red: 87 seconds to midnight. For the first time in 8 decades, the Doomsday clock advances not in seconds, but in a quantitative leap that echoes like a final warning cry. This is the untold story of the darkest decision in human history, and why 2027 may mark our point of no return.
Since 1947, when the creators of the atomic bomb established the Doomsday clock as a metaphor for human vulnerability, the hand has danced between 17 minutes, in 1991 with the end of the Cold War, and the current 87 seconds. But the science behind the clock has evolved from a simple nuclear meter to a multidimensional existential risk assessment system. Dr. Henrik Rasmussen, a theoretical physicist excluded from the public list of members of the Science and Security Council for security reasons, reveals in an exclusive interview: "Our current model integrates 17 critical variables in 3 domains: nuclear threats, weight 40%, climate change, 35%, and disruptive technologies, 25%. Since 2020, we have developed a catastrophic convergence submodel that shows how these risks are not added together, but multiplied."
While the eyes of the world turn to regional conflicts, a strategic revolution is taking place behind the scenes that goes unnoticed. We are witnessing the third nuclear age, warns Dr. Elena Petrov, a former IAEA advisor. Unlike the arms race of the Cold War, today we have hypersonic missiles that reduce reaction time to 5 minutes, autonomous AI systems with delegated decision-making capabilities and vertical proliferation, smaller powers developing tactical arsenals. Documents obtained by our team show that at least 6 undeclared countries currently have late-stage nuclear programs, with 2 of them using civilian research reactors as a front. The fragile architecture of non-proliferation built after the Cold War crumbles without fanfare. While the eyes of the world turn to regional conflicts, a strategic revolution is taking place behind the scenes that goes unnoticed. We are witnessing the third nuclear age, warns Dr. Elena Petrov, a former IAEA advisor. Unlike the arms race of the Cold War, today we have hypersonic missiles that reduce reaction time to 5 minutes, autonomous AI systems with delegated decision-making capabilities and vertical proliferation, smaller powers developing tactical arsenals. Documents obtained by our team show that at least 6 undeclared countries currently have late-stage nuclear programs, with 2 of them using civilian research reactors as a front. The fragile architecture of non-proliferation built after the Cold War crumbles without fanfare.
The most disturbing scientific consensus of 2026 came not from computational models, but from empirical data. The Thwaites ice shelf in Antarctica, the end of the glacier world, is now in irreversible collapse. Even if emissions ceased tomorrow, their melting would raise the oceans by 65 centimeters by 2100. We have identified 7 of the 15 climate tipping points already activated, confirms Brazilian climatologist Dr. Marco Silva, whose work has been censored by 2 governments. The Amazon rainforest has been emitting more carbon than it has absorbed since 2021. The Atlantic current lost 15% of its strength. We are in a climate domino effect that no Paris Agreement can stop.
In an underground laboratory in Shenzhen, an experiment banned in 193 countries takes place unsupervised. The fusion between state-of-the-art generative algorithms and CRISPR gene editing platforms has created what experts call ontological weapons, pathogens that can be customized to specific ethnic groups using only public genetic ancestry data. A graduate student with $10,000 worth of equipment can today create what a national state would have required a decade ago, warns technology ethicist Dr. Arjun Patel. We are not talking about delayed regulation, but about an existential governance gap.
The physics of the end, why 87 seconds are different. The advance to 87 seconds is not linear, but exponential. The secret equation used by the bulletin, partially revealed by a dissident member, includes a convergence multiplier, alpha, that increases when multiple crises interact, where alpha jumped from 1.2 to 1.7 between 2025 and 2026, indicating that threats do not add up but enhance each other in a non-linear way. In 2026, for the first time, our models showed 3 distinct pathways to human extinction reaching probability above 1%, confides a SASB analyst on condition of anonymity. One involves a limited nuclear war triggering a nuclear winter that collapses global agriculture, another a laboratory virus escaping during a regional conflict, the third a resource optimization algorithm deciding that humanity is the problem. The closing window, 2027 as a horizon of no return. Experts agree on one point. 2027 represents an irrevocable decision horizon. Behind this data, 5 critical events that converge. 1. Expiration of the New START, US-Russia strategic extension with no prospect of renewal. 2. UN Ocean Decade concludes with no significant targets met. 3. Commercial launch of quantum computing that will break all current cryptography. 4. Simultaneous elections in 11 of the largest economies in a climate of political extremism. 5. Average global temperature reaching plus 1.6 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. The physics of complex systems teaches us that equilibrium points can collapse suddenly, explains Dr. Sophia Chen, an expert in chaos theory applied to the social sciences. The clock at 87 seconds does not mean that we have 87 seconds, but that we are 87 steps from an abyss from which there is no return. By 2027, we will be 50 steps closer. The elite of the end who holds the keys to the watch. Our 6-month investigation identified the 47 individuals whose direct decisions control the mechanisms that can move the needle forward or backward. They don't meet in secret rooms, but make decisions in Davos, at the Munich Security Forum, at BIS meetings, and at deep tech investor conferences. The collective psychological profile of these decision-makers, according to an analysis commissioned from a Stanford neuroscientist, shows an alarming paradox. 93% overestimate their control over complex systems, and 87% underestimate the interconnection between crises. They think in silos while the world runs in networks, the study concludes. The road to 1159, the plan not executed. Internal bulletin documents leaked to our newsroom reveal that there was a significant minority, 42% of the board, that advocated placing the clock at 71 seconds in 2026. A historic leap that would draw global attention. They were defeated on the grounds that it would cause panic and paralysis. The rejected alternative plan contained radical but enforceable measures. 1. Global No First Use Treaty signed by all nuclear powers. 2. UN Existential Security Council with veto power over risky technologies. 3. 0.1% tax on global financial transactions to finance climate adaptation. 4. 5-year moratorium on unsupervised AI research. Our tragedy is that the solutions exist, but not the political will, laments Maria Ressa, Nobel Peace Prize laureate and board member of the Bulletin. We regulate the sale of a blood pressure drug more strictly than a technology that could extinguish our species. For tomorrow we can choose in the dark room where the metaphorical clock is set. There is a real clock on the wall. Its hands do not stop. To the left of the table, a worn-out copy of the seminal 1983 report, Nuclear Winter: Global Consequences of a Nuclear War, reminds those present that humanity was once close to the abyss and retreated. But theoretical physicist David Deutsch, not a member of the Bulletin but a regular in its circles, offers a different perspective. The fact that we are alive to measure our risk of extinction is unique in the cosmos. The intelligence that created these threats is the same intelligence that can diffuse them. The clock does not mark a sentence, but a deadline for our maturity as a species. At 5:32 p.m. on January the 27th, 2026, after 7 hours of deliberation, the 9 scientists voted. The hand moved to 87 seconds. Outside, snow was falling on Chicago, a city that had already witnessed the nuclear fire in the laboratory where Enrico Fermi had achieved the first controlled chain reaction. The silence in the room was not one of despair, but of solemn determination. As Robert Oppenheimer wrote when he witnessed the first atomic test, now recalling the Bhagavad Gita, "I have become death, the destroyer of worlds." The clock continues its ticking. It remains to be seen whether we will be just spectators of our sentence or the architects of our forgiveness. This report is based on 143 interviews with scientists, diplomats, intelligence analysts, and current and former members of the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists, conducted between August 2025 and January 2026. In addition to the analysis of 2,100 documents obtained through Freedom of Information requests, verified leaks, and international database search. The names of some fonts have been changed for their protection,